Hey friends, welcome to Power Code Music. In this presentation, we're going to talk about audio cables and connections. I've been wanting to do this presentation for a long time because it is very important. Infrastructure is always very important. And there can be a lot of ignorance and misconceptions in this realm, so hopefully we can work through them simply and effectively together. As we know, all audio cables are not created equal. Many people connect their recording and their live performance gear without giving a second thought as to whether or not they're using the correct cables for their setups and if the cables are even of good quality or not. As a result, in too many cases, a production suffers from excessive noise and other attributes of poor audio. With this, some people most commonly even complain about the equipment as being the cause of the issues, as opposed to what cables were used to connect it. Using the right audio cables for studio recording and live performance is crucial to ensure the highest quality audio signal transfer. Audio signals can easily be degraded or distorted if the wrong type of cables are used. And we know this can affect the overall integrity of your recordings. One of the first lessons I learned in my recording studio when I was starting out and putting it all together for the very first time was that I had to view the purchase of professional quality audio cables as a long-term investment, much like the gear that it was going to be connected to. You see, I didn't have a lot of money at that time, and I could barely afford the gear that I was using, that alone to be able to purchase the expensive professional level audio cables. This is a common problem. You see, from my perspective, cheap and poorly made audio cables are designed primarily for three things. The first is quick and dirty audio connections, when you don't care how something sounds. The second is for audio novices, people who can't tell the difference between good and bad audio. And the third is company profit. See, when you buy cheap and poorly made audio cables, they don't last very long. So in many cases, you end up buying that cable, 2, 3, and 4 times, as opposed to buying a professional quality audio cable just once and having that good sound quality and that durability to have it last for a long period of time. The bottom line here is use the wrong and or cheap, poorly made audio cables and suffer the consequences. Here are 4 reasons why it's important to use the right audio cables for recording and live performances. Number 1. Signal quality. Again, audio signals can easily become distorted or degraded if the wrong type of cable is used. Now, for example, using an unbalanced cable in a situation that requires a balanced cable can result in noise and interference. Using professional quality audio cables can ensure that the audio signal remains clear and clean, minimizing unwanted noise and distortion. Number 2, noise reduction. Good quality audio cables are designed to minimize noise and interference. That's important. It's designed to do that, which is important when recording in your studio or performing live, where there are many sources of interference, such as other electronic devices and electrical wiring. Number 3, compatibility. Different audio devices require different types of cables, and using the wrong type of cable can result in compatibility issues. Now, for example, using a digital audio cable instead of an analog cable when connecting an analog device can result in no audio signal at all. Number 4, reliability. Pro audio cables are designed to be durable and reliable. which is important especially when performing in a live venue. And some of you know exactly what I mean. Low quality cables can often break easily, which can result in costly downtime and delays. And that is the last thing you need in a live venue. You see, using the correct cables with integrity for recording and live performances is critical to ensure optimal audio signal transfer, minimize noise and interference, ensure compatibility, and maintain reliability. Let's move on to 5 common types of audio cables and connectors used in recording and live applications. The first are XLR cables and connectors. These types of cables are commonly used for microphone connections and balanced audio signals. They have 3 pins and are designed to eliminate interference and noise. XLR connectors are more sturdy and reliable, making them a popular choice for live performances and in professional recording studios. Now, there are several different types of XLR audio cables, each designed for a specific purpose. So let's break down the common types of XLR cables before we move on to the next type of audio cable. The first item in our XLR subcategory is the XLR microphone cable. This cable is the most common in recording studios and live sound applications. It's designed for connecting microphones to mixing consoles, preamplifiers, and other audio equipment. These cables are usually balanced and shielded with 3 pins in the connector. Next, we have the XLR patch cable. This cable is used for short connections between audio equipment, such as connecting a compressor to a mixing console. XLR patch cables are typically shorter than microphone cables and may be unbalanced or balanced. After that, we have the XLR snake cable. This cable is used for connecting multiple audio sources to a mixing console or a recording interface. Now, these cables can have multiple channels and are often used in live sound applications. Next, we have the XLR speaker cable. This cable is used for connecting speakers to amplifiers. Speaker cables are usually unbalanced and have 2 pins in the connector. The last item in our XLR subcategory is the XLR digital cable. This cable is used for transferring digital audio signals such as AES, EBU, and SPDIF. They have a different pin configuration than the analog XLR cables and are designed to minimize interference and noise. You see, when selecting an XLR audio cable, it is very important to consider the intended use and then select the cable that's best for that specific application. Let's move on to our next cable type, which is TRS cables and connectors. When you see TRS, that stands for tip, ring, and sleeve. These cables are used for balanced audio connections, such as those between an audio interface and a studio monitor. These connectors have 3 conductors, and a tip, or should I say the tip and ring, are used for the audio signal, while the sleeve is used for the ground connection. The next cable type is the TS cable and connector. When you see TS, that stands for tip and sleeve. These cables are used for unbalanced audio connections, such as those between an electric guitar and an amplifier. Their connectors have 2 conductors, and the tip is used for the audio signal, while the sleeve is used for the ground connection. The next cable type are RCA cables and connectors. These cables are commonly used for consumer audio devices, such as CD players and home theater systems. They have two connectors, one for the audio signal and one for the ground connection. Last but not least are BNC cables and connectors. When you see BNC, that stands for Bayonet Neoconsolement. These cables are primarily used for digital audio signals and most commonly used for connecting digital audio devices such as CD players and digital audio workstations. Now, in summary, when selecting professional audio cables and connectors, remember that it's an investment, just like the hardware gear that you purchase. In reality, high-quality professional audio cables can be expensive. Believe me, I know, I understand. If you can't afford the best, then I strongly suggest that you buy the very best cables that you can afford. Afterwards, be sure to upgrade those cables if needed as soon as you can. Well, friends, that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this presentation, please give it the thumbs up and click the subscribe button on your screen now to join our group. We have new presentations coming out every 7 to 14 days, and we would love to have you be a part of our team. Also, leave a comment in the comment section and let us know what you think about this content. And check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and TikTok. While you're here, check out some of the other music and videos and playlists because they're designed just for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. We really do appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you soon.